Yeah, hello and welcome to Riga Power BI. This week's meetup. We are starting shortly. Let's wait another minute. So until we're waiting for other participants, those who are first time, welcome. And this is a Riga Power BI official Power BI user group. But of course, we are covering many other topics like Power Platform, SQL Server, Azure services related to data, and sometimes we are also talking to more soft topics like business analysis, data analytics, and as today we will talk about data stewardship and the role of data steward. Yeah, for those who are regularly attending this meetup, welcome back. Okay, I think we are ready to start, and yeah, as always, I suggest to do it as a dialogue, of course, when it's on premise, and there were times and then we meeting on site where we see each other in person, and then this dialogue and discussion is easier to do. Here it's maybe harder, but still I encourage you to ask questions, write in chat, or just speak and share your opinion. It's not a one man show like that. I'm just talking. It's usually so, but it's now not how it should be. Okay, so what I prepared for you today, it's as you see from invitation, it's a data stewardship topic. I hope maybe someone of you could share. Do we have here in audience some data stewards? If yes, please put a plus sign in chat. Or who are by position. Maybe you are by position a data steward, then put 2 pluses. If you are feeling like a data steward, then put 1 plus. And if you don't know what is a data steward, but you want to know, then put 3 pluses. Come on, even not pluses? Oh, okay. Here we have. Oh, it looks perfect. So all the pluses are 3 pluses, and yeah, so that's nice to see, because everything is prepared to actually encourage and rethink your current job. And my goal is to show it the word of data stewardship and actually say that this is a position for you, and also explaining why this position will be very in demand in near future. And let's start with some modern data landscape. And of course, all of us who are attending this meetup are more or less close to data. We are talking about data and data environment, about different positions on different positions. Data visualization, if we are using some tools, or data analysis, again with tools. Data analytics when we are on more business position. And today we will look at data stewardship. If we want to start from this modern data landscape, and what trends are what are happening right now, like in last 5 years, I would say that the data landscape is changing a lot, and it's because of this old 3 V's, 3 V letters from the big data. It's a variability of data, we have more and more different variable data in our enterprises, and even small and mid-sized enterprises now collect really high volumes of data because they are using different small software as a service, um, different kind of tools. So they definitely, even in small organizations, you are collecting more and more different kind of data, and actually all the data are more or less corresponding to this big data characteristics like variability, high velocity, and high volume of data. And it means that actually the landscape, because of more and more different data, the landscape become more complicated and more integrated. It means that you need to have a specialization. We actually are living last days in world when we are universal soldiers of data analysis. That probably you are understanding your data super good, and you're understanding business very well, and you do a data collection, building models, building visualization, and even presenting this data. I think these days are going away because this environment becomes more complicated, and you need to have specialization. So if we look very briefly at what's happening there, we have some business function or business process owner. Like imagine the finance department, it's a finance function. We have finance dep lead, or not lead, but manager, or some finance director. And he or she is responsible for this business process. Then we definitely have information technology, because it's again so become complex, and we can't follow ourselves, so we need someone. Because of internet and all the digital, and we see how COVID accelerated it, and all the distant work, the information security becomes obsolete. So it's increased in amounts we didn't expect it, this information security. So we need labels, we need classifiers for our data. So it's not anymore that we are taking some data from our internal database and analyzing it and publishing some reports. It's not enough. We need to classify data and label and say this is a sensitive data, or this could be published or not published even internally. And from this, more and more attention comes to legal part of the data, with GDPR, with different regulations, with industry compliances, and we will see it more and more and more internal and external compliances. And it will, again, we need some experts in law, legal experts who could explain how to deal with different situations. And as a last point here, we can see this data analytics. So all these roles must work together to really help you get value out of analytics. And as we discussed a couple of meetups back, that when you are implementing some BI technology, business intelligence, which is not always technology, of course, it's a data culture, it's many other things. So you need to understand how you could adopt it and get this proficiency. And all the things we discussed, the security, labeling, legal stuff, and etc., in one word, in BI word, in Power BI word, even we are calling it governance. So it will be very important topic. So if you are not so familiar with it, I'm sure you heard it many times, but I really encourage you to go deeper and take some maybe online course about governance in BI, in business intelligence, not in IT even, but more specialized in business intelligence, or watch some videos from Microsoft channels in YouTube. There are many of them. And what is governance actually? If we simplify the message or definition of it, it's actually best practices and principles. And here, what's important on the scalable BI, it's not usually when we are universal soldiers. When we hear practices and principles, we think that what's inside our head is also principles and practices, but it's not. Governance starts when these practices and principles are written, are structured, and available somewhere for checking, for reading, for understanding. So this is a very important shift from usual BI to next level. Of course, it's all about security and accuracy of data, and centralized and decentralized fashion. Again, it's not that centralized and decentralized is actually covering everything possible. So we must be very explicit out of it. And good thing what to learn. So really very well structured information is Microsoft Power BI adoption roadmap. We will not go details here because we covered it in the 2, 3, or 4 meetups ago. But this available on the web. So just search Power BI adoption roadmap, and you will see the part of the Microsoft portal where all this stuff described, and you also could see these non-technical things like data culture, again, like governance, like content delivery scope, and many other things that we could see here. And we could start to think that, is it something that Data Steward should cover? That may be open question. So we will answer this question soon. Yeah, if you look at this available content, many things here. And overall, if you look at the Power BI adoption framework, then 4 parts and governance, you could see what's inside governance, like roles and responsibilities, and essentially these are these principles and so on. And if we going straight to this Data Steward, and as I promised it 15 minutes ago or less, that I'm sure you need to reconsider your future position in the near future and become a Data Steward. So who is actually Data Steward? And what is a stewardship process? And for me, the explanation I like is in this triangle. Imagine that you have a business process owner, or we could put an equation mark and say it's a data owner. It means if I'm running sales organization, I'm sales director. So it means I'm responsible for all the sales data, right? Because I'm responsible for the sales business process, for the objectives of this business process, for efficiency of this business process, and at the same time for all the data. And in the same way, you could imagine the marketing, supply chain, logistics, and many other functions. But what the problem in real life? In real life, even if I am a data owner, so I really should and must understand some parts of it. It's of course not realistic that I could make all the decisions around data, that I could understand all the data, that I could take care of all the data, that I could check the accuracy of all the data, and communicate efficiently with technical guys with IT. So it's not possible. And on the next level, on the bottom level, we have this data custodians, but we could say that these are actually technical IT guys who are deploying data warehouses, building tables, linking data, writing ETL processes, etc., etc. So I, as a data owner, should communicate with them to align on what should be achieved. And we understand it's not possible. So we need really someone in between. And it's data steward. There is actually one thing when it's possible, when we have very small amount of data, then it's probably possible to communicate directly. Not maybe covering everything, but covering some part. But it's not. It's not. It will not. It will not be possible in like even today. It's not possible. So we need the data steward. So, and then we come to this role. So it means that data steward is actually someone who understands business quite well. So data steward is talking one language with data owner. So data steward understands what are the priorities of the business process, what are the different metrics, KPIs, goals, etc. And the data steward understands data. So it means that the main responsibility of data steward is to follow data quality, so provide for the data owner, not just technically qualitative data, but qualitative business data that is prepared specifically to make business decisions for the data, for the business process owner. And of course, with that I mean during all the business processes, not just decisions that need to make a business owner. Then there is a metadata management. It means that data steward should manage this metadata, description about data, explanation, wrapping data into logical business language, and follow all the regulatory stuff like compliance and everything, labeling and everything else. So it becomes actually an organization without a data steward. If you are currently working in an organization and you don't have data steward position, or someone who is really doing this job, maybe you don't name it, him, her, data steward, but they do the same job, then actually your organization is in trouble if you don't have this position. So all the organizations will have, most probably will have data stewards than data analysts. That is my prediction, and that is what I feeling when I see how the companies are sharing their ideas. Why? Because it's much harder nowadays. With especially, for example, with Power BI, you know that many people could create or easily report using Power BI from well-described data models. So data stewards are preparing these well-described logical data models. They are preparing them, maybe not technically, but logically, but sometimes even technically, and we will see it. So this is just introduction to data steward. I hope you are already thinking about it. And if we look at the different skills that data stewards need, here you could read the list, but I want to talk here about how the day looks, one day of data steward looks like. So I think that Data Steward starts with communicating with the people by drinking virtual or physical coffee, and they start their day understanding how the BI actually works, what analytics they used yesterday, and what worked, what did not work it well, what actually what are the business challenges. So all around business. So what are the goals? What helps us drive organization? If we can predict this, or if we could get this kind of data, then we could make a difference. Maybe achieve some competitive advantage or some performance, especially in if we talk about digital channels where data are flowing much faster and helping us much faster. Then Data Steward is also working on with the data sources by doing very important operation is as a duty of Data Steward is a data inventory, especially nowadays when the systems and data sources are popping up like mushrooms after rain. So we don't know all the data sources, so we need to discover them, do inventory, understand what they are, what's here, and so on. So, and of course, then Data Steward is talking with business executives, with this with data owners, understanding what valuable data should be maybe collected, or even it should be created, and so on. So I would say it's easily we could name it as a data strategy. So it looks like there is a specific name, Data Steward, but in actually it's more data strategies than some everyday routine work. So it's very interesting job, and as you see from the skills, it's business together with IT, where everyone, if you will watch videos and go to online courses, you will hear that data stewards must be more on the business. Like 70% is a business and 30% is data analytics, maybe, or sometimes it's even 80-20. So business focus is bigger. And yeah, you see here these responsibilities of the data steward, and this business focus is a very important question, because even if you are doing you are a data analyst right now, or maybe you are BI developer, even if you are BI developer, then I heard it already many times that if you invest in some business understanding, so subject matter expertise in some specific business like automotive or logistics or finance or insurance, so it's a more valuable investment of time and money, energy, than investment in some technicalities, some technical things. It means that learn about insurance more, probably spend some time, invest in understanding insurance more than investing in understanding DAX. Yeah, that is probably a suggestion that I want to put here, because you as a data steward, you need this business expertise, and many other time things are actually are complementary. Yeah, and if we're coming to some technical or on the border, which are not maybe very business things, but are combined, and usually these combined things are in area of business analysis. Business analysis, system analysis, very close disciplines. And for example, this data inventory, it means that you are going across the organization and looking what's kind of new data coming there. And you know that sooner or later. So I'm sure that in every organization already, you are coming very soon at the point when you are saying, okay, we have a client data here in CRM, we have a client data, customer data in here in our web page, in our this system, in our B2B system, and this data is a little bit different. So how we could really build analytics or make decisions based on this data if we can't really consolidate and understand it clearly. And there, when you come to idea of data catalog and data catalogs and for example, uh, uh, data governance. So this is important point. Uh, data catalogs and data dictionaries. So it's an important point actually when you understand. Okay, we are on the level when it becomes organizationally and structurally more complex than just getting data and visualize it. And data inventory, for doing data inventory, you need different skills, which are business analyst or system analyst skills, like relationship diagrams, data classification, following data flows, sharing data, etc. And all this stuff should be, or I would even say that must be, again, this part of the business process modeling. So all the data we are actually using is not because it's very nice to discover data. It's like gold mining. We are gold mining. We are mining our data and trying to find different kind of data, and then we have this nice visualizations. It's not a goal. The really goal is that we are using it as a part of business process design and business process modeling. And of course, for business process, to build a better business process, we need to get all correct data and good looking data. And it's very important function of Data Steward. It's nice that Microsoft actually thinks about it and provides very good tools for that. For example, this Microsoft Data Lineage. This tool, it's for a while now, and it actually shows all the links between different data sources, some a little bit description of the on these data sources, reports, dashboards, transformations, and so on. And if you look at these data sources, here I have a short video I will show you. It's built in several Microsoft products already. Here we see that what's available in standard Power BI service. So you could see that you could look or get this data lineage, that how the different data entities are linked together. And you could, for example, search for sales or some business function, or data source name or type, and you could see it for all the artifacts or all the elements across your workplace. So you could look at closer to each of these entities, and if it's a data source, you could see it as a table. So you could see that actually what kind of tables and what kind of fields are there. So it helps you to get this data. So I could shortly show you how it looks like in Power BI service. Like here you have a workplace. So we are inside one of the workplace. This is test workplace. And under view here, we have this lineage functionality. So switching to this view, we could click here. We see that this is a get shareable data sources. But until we click on the Power BI data set, you could see that we even see the data and columns inside this data set. Or like in this case, here we have many tables, so we have total 9 tables. Again, we could see some details of the data source and what's inside and these tables. Or if we look at this dashboard, yeah, there's some information about dashboard. Currently, not much, but in Power BI. But of course, over time there will be more and more functionality, and it helps us to see the bigger picture, because what usually gives us a better understanding is abilities that we could see this bigger picture. And for that, for you as a data steward, of course, things what we discussed, that you understand business and you could structure data, that you could describe, and actually you could talk data. You must be the smartest person in your organization talking some business domain, like you are in customer service, or you are in logistics, or in finance. If you are a data steward, you actually will be invited every time there is a business process designed, or there is a we want to calculate some performance metrics, or we could want to create scorecards or reports. So you as a data steward are the key person who will explain what kind of data we could use, or where to find data we need. And there is another super duper tool that we will use enormously, actually. I think, of course, I'm a Microsoft addict, and I will show you a Microsoft tool for that. But there are many other tools that provide similar functionality. And this is Azure Purview. And what is Azure Purview? Azure Purview is a tool that actually could connect to many different data sources on cloud or on premise or SaaS, and extract all the data models out of it. And it even could discover these data models across your organization. So files you save it somewhere, databases that are available, etc. And it will show you, as here you could see that by doing discovery, you could find the different data sources. So it automatically discovers in your network, or in different networks. As you see, there are different networks, different data centers. It will find automatically databases and data models, data marts inside these databases, files that are used for data storage, Power BI files, and etc. Oh, I'm sorry. One second. One second. I'm sorry. Yeah, and imagine that you are running some software and it discovers all the data source across your organization, or even you could search for some specific data sources. Like here, I put the sales as a search keyword, and it starts searching all the data sources that have a sales in the name, or maybe in some metadata, or in some details. So I could really look at different data sources and data marts that probably contains this sales information, then I go inside this found entity, and what I see there, I see the overall overview information like description from the metadata, the actually hierarchy of the location, that there's a some Azure SQL server, and there's database in the server, and there's a schema, and then I have a table that actually is a sales order header. And I could, as you see, there's overview information, there's schema. I could look at schema, lineage, as we see it in previous slides. Contact information, that some metadata, how we could contact the data source owner. And for pure view, we have much enhanced and advanced data lineage. If we see what's inside the Power BI, so it's more like connected squares, but here in PureView, it's more detailed. It's with across different services or products. You can see that if you look at the Power BI workspace, and it's connected to some pipelines and maybe Azure SQL Server. So we see how it's linked, and that is what actually the data stewards must learn or understand. They actually should become like knowledge managers of the data in any organization. Of course, not for a whole organization. Don't think it's possible, but for some very specific business domain, and it's a real value of these people already today. And we see that more and more tools are coming that actually are giving us fast and easy to understand data environment, so we could focus really on the understanding of this data and how make it better and more productive, how to make this data more productive rather than draw all these things in Visio. I remember times when we needed to spend hours and maybe days just to put all these things on Visio, and we never been sure that it is in the right way. Today we can see that things like data lineage, like discovery of the data in PureView or different tools, data catalogs, and things like that actually give us tools when we could be very productive and focus on the data performance and domain knowledge. Yeah, that's it. What I wanted to tell you. So now I probably want to hear if there are any questions, and maybe even besides questions, I want to hear those who put 3 pluses when we started. Maris, Richard, Michael, Simona, Ingrida. So you said that you don't know nothing about, or you don't understand what is data steward. Could you share now your understanding about the data stewardship? Yeah, a presentation. I will share the presentation. So I will put it in. I can't put it in chat, but I will publish it on SlideShare and put a link in the comment to this meetup. And hopefully I also will render video and then put it in the meetup comment to the meetup. So, any questions, any comments? Actually, I don't know many data stewards. I know at least 2 guys who are really doing this job, but they don't have a business card with or position data steward, but they are doing this job. Yeah. Yeah, question about how outcome of the successful data steward look like after 20 months, XX months. Yeah, let's say what is the biggest? Actually, we could start from the opposite. What is the biggest problem currently in data analytics? And the biggest problem in data analytics is that business processes and requirements for business processes and business processes in itself are unsynchronized with the reporting. And it's because business processes are changing more often and not always we are changing reports. So I've seen it many, many times that there is a BI reporting and it's more or less stable. And one of the reasons is that all the changes are expensive and time consuming. So BI is like we build BI and still we have this this idea that we are building BI once for a long time. But business processes we must change even we don't like it or don't want it because it's how the business operates and we must adapt. And it means that business processes are living their own life and reports that explaining these business processes are living their own life. And the data steward, even in months or 2 months, could show what to do actually with small investments, how to synchronize it and how to get more results out of it. What technical skills are needed to succeed as a data steward apart from SQL? So I don't think that data steward needs to know a lot of SQL. Actually, no. That there are tools that helps you do the discovery. As I said at the beginning, though, the most important skills for data steward is actually business and soft skills. It's understanding the environment and then communicating efficiently about it. Is the role of central data steward necessary when the company have a lot no code platform and city data scientist? I don't know. I'm not sure that I know the correct answer here about the head of data stewards. I would say that data stewards are more as a part of some business units. They of course should be as a part of some guild or some professional organization like community of practice of data stewardship and closer work with different other experts to keep up their competencies, but mainly they are not a separate business unit for the organization with their own lead or own manager, but they are part of different business organizations. So we usually will see that data stewards are in some business units like finance and bookkeeping and maybe somewhere else, or sales, marketing and service, or contact center, call center. So you could cover maybe many similar business areas, because you will hear everywhere that business knowledge, business domain knowledge is something must have. So it's crucial to have. Yeah, citizen data scientist. I get it. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? And yeah, and again, why I think that data steward will be the 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 why it's super good choice, especially if you are young expert, young specialist, and you are just getting into this data science, or not data science, data analytics world, BI world. It's because you will get more more fundamental skills that will last for long. So all the soft skills and all the business skills, that is something that you will use all your business, all your life. Um, I'm not sure that the knowledge of Power BI will be useful in 10 years or 15 years. In 20, for sure, not in 20 years. So it will be different tool, different way of how we operate or how we use data. So the technical skills are for some time. So it's a very good investment, but it's short period investment. Of course, overall, over time, you are more collecting this common understanding, but still, it's something that you will need to learn more and more and more, and you will need to spend at least 10 hours a week to keep your technical knowledge on the very good level. In soft knowledges, you could accumulate them more. DQS MDS tool, one of the DMS tool, MDS tool, or do you mean also it's maybe data management, master data management, yeah, by MDS. So I would say that this is something that there's a lot of tools really, and it's very hard to find them. I would recommend to look at Atlas. It's Apache Atlas, I think. It's a tool for data cataloging that Microsoft also using, and many other services are using it. So that is probably the starting point. This Apache Atlas, where to start. But I tried really to understand all the MDM landscape currently, and it's not easy to understand. Spotfire also, yeah, but there are many differences between them, so it's definitely an it's question on how to extend this, because one thing that you implement master data like data cataloging services, then you need this data discovery services, you need Lineage and many other services. So it's a question how you build this platform and how many different tools you need to use for it. But it's a good idea for a separate meetup. So I think, yeah, so we could keep this discussion for one of the next meetups. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very much for coming. So as I said, shortly we'll share this video and presentation. So hope to see you again next time. Thank you and have a nice weekend and evening. Thank you. Bye-bye.